Got it.
All right. Hey, Christina. Good to have you
Hey,
today.
thank you so much for having me. I love being here.
All right. So today we decided we're going to talk about the dark night of the soul,
Ooh, yeah.
which
Now,
has been written about for many centuries because it's not a new phenomenon that we just have because we're busy with our computers and our laptops and our cell phones and our jobs and our fast moving world. It happened even when the world was moving slowly in slower
mm,
times, in
mm.
medieval times, even before that, right?
Yes, that's true.
So, how do people get there and how do people get out of it? Today I was on a talk and we were discussing how you can have faith that
Mm-hmm.
everything's going to work out. You can do
Mm-hmm.
your affirmations, you can write in your journals, you can do your prayer work, you can have a prayer partner, you can have a sangha, and still, maybe the things you're wishing for and hoping for are not there for you right now, and you feel lost. How do we help people get out of that? Or is it just something to endure?
That's a very good question. I want to play with this a little bit because I think that comes back to the eternal question, right? Why is there human suffering? Why is this happening? I mean, I can't tell you how many clients have gone into that, why is me kind of thing. And even when you have faith, you still experience those moments like, okay. And I always go back to you, like, I'm very spiritual and I do believe everything happens for a reason. And I do believe, it's part of a bigger plan. So I try to find comfort in that to have the light and to appreciate the light, there must be times of dark, there must be period of growth, there must be struggle, there must be challenges. This world is messy. It's very, very messy. And you definitely don't wish, by any stretch of the imagination, you don't wish any of that. But it's kind of kicked into our existence on this world. So people ask, well, why does God let that happen? Or doesn't he stop it? If you believe God's all powerful, then why isn't he stopping this? And how do you do that? So I'm not a theologian. I will not pretend to understand the mysteries of the world, but I do believe that part of our experience on this planet is to grow spiritually, to grow as spiritual beings. And a big part of that growth is how we face the challenges. Because I don't know about you, but I had found some of my greatest periods of growth have been through some of my biggest challenges. Now, by the way, I'm not looking for any more growth. I'd like a little quick right now. But in all seriousness, that has really, fine tuned me. And as I have worked with clients who are going through their own tragedies and who are going through their own grief and stuff like that, yes, I can help them as a trained professional, but a bigger part of how I help them is that I get it. I have lived as a human being. I've experienced my own dark moments of the soul and figured out a way to come out the other side of it. And so my goal is to help them to shine that light, as it were, to let them know, okay, yeah, this is really dark and this is painful right now. Not to sugarcoat it, because some people like just are being going to be in denial that there's ever difficulty. No, no, there is, but that there is light. Like, think of it like almost like you have this tunnel and it is dark, but on the other side of it, all that cliche stuff is actually true. There is light at the end of the tunnel.
That's so beautiful, Christina. And I was putting together a talk, and I'll just pull some bits out of what I was thinking about. I was thinking about a time when I was a young woman, I was about 25, and I decided to quit my job in Seattle and move to the ocean
Mm-hmm.
and work on boats, which I had done for fun in the summertime. But now I was serious. I wanted to work on a real boat, meaning the kind of boats that go out and get the fish that we eat for dinner, right?
Cool.
So I got a place to live for free from my parents and their friends. They had a little cabin I could stay in. At the time, I didn't have a car. My parents sold me their used car for $500.
Oh
And
my
I
God.
just drove to the ocean and I thought to myself, okay, now I'm going to get a job. So, no, not with a lot of energy because I started my day at about 9. And by the time I got to the docks, it was about 11. And I walked up and down saying, I'm looking for a job. I'm looking for a job. I'm looking for a job. And almost every day I saw the same guy, and he's like, "Well, I know you don't want to work on charter boats, but how's it going?" I was like, "I don't have a job yet." I told my friends I wanted a job. I told them what I was looking for. One guy introduced me to a fellow who had a long line boat, and they fished for black cod. And I thought, that's a real boat. I'll work on that. And he said, "No, I don't hire girls."
Mm.
And my friend said, much to my pleasure, he's like, she has a license to run 100-ton boats. She's not just any girl. She knows about boats. He's like, no, we don't have a head on board. So if you have to go poo, you have to just hang your butt over the railing. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds really unpleasant. Anyway, he did not hire me.
Mm.
And later, I did get a job, not working on a real boat, but working on the very best, the brand new, most fanciest boat in the charter boat fleet. And that was super cool. And I saw that guy later. We waved at the fuel dock, and he looked pretty surprised that I was on this other boat. He was on his boat. And the end of that story is this: his boat sunk. His boat sunk while they were out fishing. The Coast Guard had to go save him, and everybody had to jump off the boat and swim around in their life jackets to get rescued. And I
Mhm.
thought to myself, wow, dark night of the soul, thank you for not letting me work on that boat.
Yes.
Instead, I got something better, not something I thought I wanted, but the,
Yes.
the universe gave me something even better.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love that story. And it is so true. And that is definitely how you look at it. Like because sometimes we can be pushing and pushing, pushing at the door and say, why isn't this opening? Maybe it's not supposed to. Maybe there's a better door for you. Because I think of our lives like I'm a movie buff, so I think of our lives like a giant movie. And it's like when you watch a movie that you really love, it's like you see all the twists and turns before they get to that point. And you're like, they had to go through those things to get there. So I think that's where the whole plan of the universe comes in. So yes, you had the intention on your heart to work on a boat, but the universe had a bigger boat in store. I'm like,
Right on. Yeah, yeah. And, I tell my coaching clients this, and I often forget whatever I'm telling them is my learning too.
yeah,
But it's not really where like, we all have a dream and we want to go do this. We want to have the love relationship. We want to have the beautiful house or the beautiful car. We want to have the job that's fulfilling. Whatever we want, our time and money, freedom, and go on vacations. Whatever we want, we can have it. But sometimes it's not really getting that thing that makes us happy. It's the journey there, and it's the person that we have to become to have that end
yeah.
result. So I had to become a different person to be that charter boat skipper than I would have had to be as just one of the guys on this boat hanging
Yeah.
my butt over the side of the railing. you know, I had to be a bigger person, a bigger version of myself.
Hmm. I love that. I love that. So sometimes, like, we have this goal in our heart, we have this dream in our heart, and sometimes it gets deferred, not because we're not supposed to have it, but because it's not the right time and the right place.
Wow, yeah, that's beautifully put. Yeah, that's beautifully put. So it sounds like really you're having a dark night of the soul. You can remind yourself that this too shall pass.
Yes, another true cliche. This too does pass. Now, we're not minimizing that when you're in that dark night of the soul, it can get pretty dark and it can be very painful and very difficult. But by reminding yourself that this too shall pass, and it's interesting because with each experience where we have come out the other side, we learn that we can, so that the next time you experience another dark night of the soul, you're reminded that the last time you went through this, the sun did come out, things did get better.
Yeah, beautiful. Also, I think when you're having that struggle in your mind and in your heart and it things look dark, it's a very, very good time to remember to have self-care.
Yes,
So to
yes,
do those things that make you feel relaxed and happy. Maybe it's, if your dark night of the soul includes you're not getting enough money that you think you need, maybe you don't get a massage,
right.
but maybe you take a walk in the woods or take a
Exactly.
long, restful bath.
Yes, I like that because it's also about changing perspective. Like, for instance, I know someone who's struggling financially, but their financial struggle in comparison to maybe someone else's financial struggle is not as bad as what you know what I'm saying? Like they're struggling compared to where they were, but not as, but there are others who were struggling even worse. So by doing that, by reminding yourself, okay, I feel that this is not where I want to be. Okay, so change that narrative then. You're not where you want to be, but what can you do to make the most of where you are now? Can you find a moment of joy in where you are now?
Right.
Can,
Plus, if you're looking at the world and you don't have abundance in a particular area, it
right.
says financial, why don't you write down everything you do have?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That idea of counting blessings, because what happens is we get this myopic vision where we're just like, oh, this is lacking, this is lacking, this is lacking, this is lacking. And we're not saying, well, wait a minute, take a look over here. So that's definitely an exercise I do with my clients when they're struggling in a particular area. I try to say, okay, but what in your life is going well? Because a lot of times when one area is not working, it kind of clouds everything else. And usually there's another area that's actually okay, but you're not
Hmm.
acknowledging it because you're focusing on the thing that's not working. But, and I get that, but don't diminish the thing that is. What is that story of, you have about these sheep, but then you have the one that runs away and you're focusing on the sheep that ran away, but you're not focusing on the sheep that are still there. I think there's some sort of parable or something like that. So I think it's like that with so many things, or a lot of times, like unfortunately, in family situations, if one of the kids has behavioral issues or problems, so much focus is put on the kid who's struggling that then the kid who's actually doing okay is like it virtually ignored. And then they start to have issues because, hey, look at me, I'm over here. I matter too.
Right, right. That reminds me when after I left my home, my childhood home, my parents and my little younger brother all went to therapy. And
Mhm.
my brother tells me a story. He goes, "So one day they're mad at me because I'm smoking pot." I was like,
Mhm.
"So what? I smoke too much pot. Dad, you drink too much. Mom, you eat too much." And he just kind of outed the whole family dynamic right there. I was like, wow,
Whoa,
wow. I don't remember what happened next, but I think it was a shocking conversation that I wasn't there for.
wow. But it was an important conversation.
Exactly. Because they're all focused on his bad behavior.
Hmm.
and not even acknowledging their own addictions, so to speak.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, wow. Well, we got off topic there, or did we?
No, actually, we didn't. Because if you look at the idea of the dark night of the soul, keep in mind there can be darkness and you don't even recognize your own darkness because you're focusing on someone else's darkness.
Oh, true, Christina. That's a beautiful nugget.
Yeah.
All right, for now, let's leave it there and we can imagine if you're in your own dark night of the soul,
Hmm.
please take good care of yourself
Yes.
because this too shall pass.
Yes.
All
I
right.
agree.
Thanks for being here, Christina. I
Oh, thank
appreciate you.
you. And I appreciate you. I love our talk. Thanks so much for having me.
All right.